Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 7 of Mad Dialogue with me, Michelle.
And me, Skyla.
Okay, so we already know what we're going to talk about today. You know what we're talking about
Let's
today.
talk about sex, baby.
Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about sex. So let me ask you this question first, though. Do you think a lot of mothers and daughters talk openly about sex?
Yeah.
You do?
I think so. I feel like, as much as there's mothers and daughters that don't talk about it, there's mothers and daughters that do, you know? I feel like, that's the thing. If you can't talk to your mum about sex, who can you? And I know not everyone can, but that is the most common.
Or the most obvious place.
Yeah.
I feel you should be able to go to talk about sex. I couldn't talk about sex to my mum. That was a no-no. Okay, sex growing up, that was like a taboo subject.
Yeah.
And so there was no discussing sex, and I feel that's why I have been so different and more open with you and your siblings about the subject of sex, because I think it's important. And whilst we're talking about it, I just want to say today, we're filming on Wednesday, the 3rd of September, yes? It marks 5 years that I have been celibate.
Tuesday the 3rd, but yeah.
Tuesday the 3rd.
Yeah.
Sorry. Tuesday the 3rd. I have been celibate for exactly 5 years.
5 years of celibacy.
Whoop, whoop. The thing about it is, it wasn't even a thing like...
You set out to do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I have sex too much. No, because there's girls my age that do that. They're like, oh, I'm going to be celibate for a year because they feel like they're too active.
Seriously?
Yeah, damn right. And they stick with it though. Good for them.
So what's your views on, in this country, the legal age is 16. Do you think that is a reasonable age, or do you think people should be older?
See, I feel like I'll probably answer this question differently from now being 17 to when I'm grown. And the only reason I could say that is because obviously me being a teenager, of course teenagers are going to want to have sex. So, it works in your favor then, because it's if for people in your age group, that's how I'm going to put it. Yeah. It works in your favor. If you want to have sex with your partner and you're 16, 17, 18, you can. But the only thing about that is then, because the age of consent is 16, that means a 16-year-old can have sex with a 40-year-old man. And there's so much of a debate over this, because I'll have friends that are like, oh, well, my teacher told me no, it can only be under 18 that 16-year-olds can have sex with. But that's not the case. The age of consent means when you hit the age that you can consent to sexual acts, full stop, with anyone of any age other than people under the age of 16. So for that, no, I do wish that the age of consent was 18, because I think it's a bit ridiculous that 16-year-old legally can have sex with a grown adult. However, in the case of being a teenager, wanting to be a teenager, I do think it should just be, if it is 16, it should just be limited to other people under 18.
So how many teenagers under the age of 16 do you think actually have sex?
Loads.
Really?
A lot. I knew a girl who, she was in year 7, so she would have been 11, 12, I guess. And she was like, oh, so me and my boyfriend, we were thinking, he's obviously the same age, and she was like, we were thinking about, having sex, but I thought, we should just wait a bit longer until we're a bit older and mature. So I'm like, yeah, oh my gosh, that's such a good decision. She's like, yeah, till we're a bit older and mature, 13.
Oh my goodness.
I was like, no, no. And at the time I was 14 and I'm already
Ernie's 14, and there is no way I could imagine Ernie having sex at 14. That's horrendous to me. But you know what I mean? I do know that it happens. Do you know what I'm saying? But for me, being the ages I am, obviously coming out of I was married to your dad for a long time, and so then you're no longer in a relationship, and there a lot comes with it. You're not so quick to be free and easy with your body in that respect. There's a lot of things that you start really taking into consideration when you've been on the celibacy journey, especially when you didn't even plan to do that.
But it feels like a sobriety streak if I put it like.
But I do feel proud of myself. Yeah. I do, like.
But it's like it's that thing of breaking it.
You go right, and that is the thing. And I mean, the funny thing is like in the beginning, it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
Okay, because it was like,
okay, it's been like a week, or it's been like 4 months.
I'm not bothered anyway.
And it's not like you're thinking of anyone, right? Like, yeah.
But then I went through a phase where I really wanted it, and that was like, oh my gosh,
have to invest in a rose toy.
And I was thinking, is this my life for the rest of my life? Am I just going to be constantly
wanting sex and
not doing nothing about it? And then you get to a point where that calms down, and it does become a more spiritual thing. I think because I'm on the spiritual journey anyway, it becomes a more spiritual thing, and you start thinking about the actual act of sleeping with somebody, having sex with someone. It's not just about that, it's about the soul transference, which a lot of people don't take into consideration because they just view it as a lustful act like that. And I've seen a couple, so I'm not calling out no one's names or nothing like that I've seen on social media, but there was one woman in particular that was on a mission to sleep with X amount of men within a year. And I think when I worked it out, say like we were 6 months in or something, and when I worked it out, she'd slept on average with 2 men a month each month so far, something like that, or it could have been a bit more. But my point was like, why do you want to do that? Now don't get me wrong, I know the whole stigma thing. Like if a man was doing that, he'd be
like considered like, you're like a bad man.
But a woman does it, it's a totally different thing. Even though saying that though, I was approached by a 43-year-old fuckboy. I did not know they came that old, and I was quite horrified because man viewed me as a side order, shooting his shot, saw me as a side order when I'm the whole menu. So it's that as well. When don't you think you should get to a certain age and you shouldn't be acting that way as well? Do you know what I mean? Like just want to be sleeping with various different people. What's your views on that? I mean, like I said, she wanted to sleep with X amount of men. She's gonna get, she got slated. A man says exactly the same thing, and that's his mission, and he's, you know what I mean, like, you're a G type thing.
That's for me, either way, I think it's nasty. Like, why do you want to sleep with so many people? And why is there a set goal of how many people you want to sleep with? However, I think man or woman is disgusting. But the whole stigma between, men, they're getting props for it, and women on the other hand don't. I feel like I don't know if that will ever stop. Yeah, of course. And I don't know if it will ever stop or what. But, it's been like that for years. And for me, I don't understand why it's like that, because either way, as I said, I think it's nasty. Like, obviously, like, I don't think sex as a whole is disgusting, but the fact that you're setting yourself a target, I think is a bit ridiculous. Like,
okay, no, I don't think the act of sex is nasty. I think it can be a beautiful thing. Like, I think it could be quite,
like, that's what creates life. Like,
no, like, there's nothing wrong with it. However, there are certain sexual acts that I have an issue with, okay? Because I was out of the circuit for a minute. And so when I started to look into the dating scene, so to speak, and then I realized that these other things have come in. Now, don't get me wrong. I am not saying they weren't doing this back in the day.
Because they 100% were in the 80s.
Okay, I'm not saying they weren't. And in the 80s, I still would have been too young.
I know, but I'm just saying in the 80s. Like, you were alive in the 80s and this was going in.
But the point I'm making is,
I know the 60s, they were freaky.
Right, okay, so they were doing these things. Obviously, they were keeping them hush. But then I heard this terminology, obviously, I know about flipping fellatio and cunnilingus, I'm using the proper names that
well, no, you shouldn't use the proper names if the example.
No, I'm going, no, but as Neo would say, let me land. Okay, so you're like, when I say your generation, Neo's generation would refer to fellatio as uckers, or my generation would have called it a blowjob.
Well, people still call it a blowjob.
Okay, but blowjob,
each generation, so long and you've got to
generations bring in different terminology. So, like, obviously for cunnilingus,
eating out.
Okay.
Or, what's the other one? No, someone said something the other day and I loved it. I was like, I need to say that. Oh, what was it? No, box munching. It wasn't box munching.
Was it a
yeah,
rug muncher?
Oh no, that's lesbians. But no, someone said something. It wasn't box muncher, but I did find that one funny.
But this new one that I heard was called tossing salad or tossing the salad or whatever. And the only time I've ever heard of a salad being tossed was obviously in the kitchen. Yeah. So I was like, well, what is that basically? And then I was told that I'm trying to find the best way to say it without sounding really crass. But basically,
it's eating out, but like
there you go. Thank you, Skyla.
Basically, but do you know what? I feel like
why would you want to do
I'm not
that?
being funny. I don't think that's our generation. No, honestly, because I've never heard anyone say that. I don't know, but I've never personally heard anyone say that.
Well, it's
they're just saying like "yaman out batty." Full stop, like your man
terminology.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant you'd never heard of the people eating out.
No, I've heard that, but I'm saying the term tossing salad. I don't think that comes from us because I've never heard it.
How does that turn anybody on? I'm saying it here and now, loud and proud. I am not tossing anyone's salad, and neither do I want my salad tossed, unless we are talking about salad in the kitchen. Yeah,
I like salad in
and even then, I'm going to look at you a bit dubious if you ask me if I want you to toss my salad. I'm going to still look at you dubious, even if we are in the kitchen and there is a salad bowl in front of you. Okay? Because I think that's horrendous. Like, why would people want to do that? Waste comes out of there. Would you do that?
No. I know someone who's had their batty.
Me? I don't know anybody, but if I knew that they had done that when they were talking to me, I would be like this.
No, they haven't yam batty themselves. They had their batty yam.
Oh.
I've heard good reviews. No, I have. Like, I've heard good reviews, but I just think, like, I'm not being funny. When I'm having sex, like, I don't even want my booty hole in, like, eyesight. Like, no, honestly, like, I'm scared. Like, I don't like him to see it. So... No, like genuinely, like that's why, like there'll be certain positions that I won't partake in because my butthole's too on show. But so just the fact of just even having anyone's mouth there, it's just I just couldn't. You know, like even when like you be eating out, sometimes you feel like it's getting a bit too close, and I'm like, yeah.
But I think to myself though, right? Like, what if somebody decides they're having a one night stand, yeah? And they say, do you know what? I'm going to eat out everything. Oh my God. Like it's a whole buffet.
All you can eat.
And then... Whose idea was it to talk about this?
Yours.
Of course. The one who doesn't get any. Anyway. Anyway. And then a couple of days later, yeah, you break out in a rash. And it's just round your mouth area.
But do you know what you find, like, I find funny as well, is if this was really the case, why are porn stars not breaking out in, like, all these, like, stuff? Like, now that I'm thinking about it, obviously, I've seen people get rashes more from, like, lipsing a man with a beard that doesn't clean his beard before they're, like, doing anything like that. No, because I genuinely think, like, sometimes the acts that people are partaking in, I'm like, you know, you're not getting UTIs when you're doing this stuff. Like some people are using like food. Some people use food.
They're not gonna lay out their whole medical history
but,
for you to
there's
see.
quite a lot of things I wonder, like, you know.
I remember a couple that they blatantly discussed their sexual escapades. Let's put it that way. And I think as well, because I was a teenager, so I was kind of like, what? But they used to do this thing at the fish and chip shop where they would fry a Mars bar in butter.
Yeah.
I think they still do that now in some parts of the UK.
Yeah.
But they don't do it at our chippy, just saying.
Thank the Lord.
I know, right?
Could you imagine tasting Mars bar and like your food after?
I've never had one and I never will, especially when I found
seems like 10 shades of diabetes.
That he used a buttered covered Mars bar whilst they were having sex. There we go.
What did he use it for? Out of her bum?
In her vagina.
Yeah, I hear with that shit. Like that is like people be putting bananas and they make a sundae out of it. But sometimes people put them in their butt as well. Like people put food in their butts, but that's what I'm saying. I'm like, you must be itching and burning, because I just couldn't imagine. Like, I feel like you're like anything down there, like you don't even want to use like a certain soap with it.
Oh my goodness,
because it could irritate it. So I'm like, how are you sticking who knows what knows up there and around there and on there and not, you know, experiencing anything?
And see, this is my thing. When you've been like 5 years, like you're really, really, really fussy about who and what goes near it.
Well, obviously, really fussy. Be trying to shove a banana up your booty hole. So
I've never done that.
Yeah, so you're right.
I don't know, and that's another thing. Listen. There is no access to my butthole.
Stop, real. Because I'm sorry, like, for one, the whole process of having to like prepare for that is one thing, and for two, that's your exit hole. And I feel like, no shade, like if people partake in doing anal with their girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, as a female though, I always say, like, I have a vagina for a reason. So why a man would want to stick his penis into my butt when I have a vagina, I can't comprehend. And the only thing I could think there is that you're gay, and I've got so much backlash from saying that.
Yeah, but apparently the other side of it is tighter.
But like, that's just a full-blown insult there, honestly. But you know, that's one thing. And for two, it's just like the whole preparation just to do that. It's so tight that would be so painful. Like, why would you want to go through it?
As we're sitting here talking about that tune, what's her name? Sexy Red.
Yeah.
Which I think she's anything but when she sings that song and she says,
I'm out of town, thugging with my rounds, my coochie pink, my booty hole brown. Where the niggas, I'm looking for the hoes.
You really took time to look at your butthole.
Yeah, well, it's kind of self-explanatory. You know,
but anyway,
you know, like
do you, boo? But like,
do you know who I found out was a virgin?
Who?
Cupcake.
Who's Cupcake?
I suck dick like I'm giving CPR. That one.
I don't know.
Or
how old is she?
Grown, but lick it now. Is that her?
Is that
Cupcake? She's just bare vulgar songs that she sings.
That would give the impression that she is very experienced in sex,
like her whole, all of her songs are about sex. But now finding out she's a virgin, you listen to her songs and some of these positions, you're like, how are you doing that? Like, I've sat there before and tried to work out like what she's saying, and I'm like, how is that possible? And it just seals the deal now. Like, it makes sense because obviously she's a virgin because she's saying all of these things, but it doesn't actually make sense. Like,
I get what you're saying.
You know, actually doing it in real life. If you like,
do you think though that she's good? Well, my thing is this: how can you be really singing about something that you have no idea about, or rapping or whatever?
Well, do you know what they hit? Tight as a virgin, boy, don't get nervous. Tight.
They hit, you know. Okay. But yeah, man. But yeah, it's very interesting to me. It's very interesting that how people view sex and how, all right then, like for example, I remember when I tried joining the dating app Tinder, I was on it for like a whole 12 hours and ran. This man started off very pleasantly talking to me, and then very swiftly moved into the place of wanting to basically have sex with me straight away.
But Tinder's a hookup app.
And wanting to send pictures of his appendage. And I was like, oh my days.
Tinder's a hookup
Bye,
app.
Tinder.
And like, you can put the categories that, oh, you're looking for long term and you're looking for this and not just like a one night stand and stuff like that. Yeah, people will still be on your phone trying to have a one night stand. And that's what's
I was so scared. And I think as well, because obviously they, you know.
He gonna get me.
They live in the surroundings, yeah. It'd be easy. I felt like it'd be easy for them to find me, and I felt like I was giving off celibate radar. Like they wanted to get me. Like, she hasn't had it for a minute. Yeah, I need that. I need to tap that. Do you know what I'm saying? And I was literally like, no, he did not just put question to me and then send me a picture of his appendage.
That is very common though.
Okay, and that's why
but it's actually illegal to send unsolicited pictures of your penis and genitals, so don't do that, guys.
And delete and then I deleted the app and never to return again. And I'm like, no, I'm good. I'll just sit here and sometimes I have dreams about it, and that's good enough for me. At this moment in time. Okay, that's not true. But I'm not being funny. I refuse to lower my standards and just.
So if anyone's
hook
watching
up.
this, listening to this,
No, don't. I'm not trying.
do you know, I can't even say your type. It might, yeah, never
Shut
mind.
up.
Never mind.
But yeah, seriously, I'm not into that whole hookup thing. Like,
No hookup culture for her.
Huh?
I said no hookup culture for her.
No. The ages that I am, and I have to be a good example for my children.
So what, you wouldn't
also.
even have like a friend that's there for sex and going out for meals?
Oh yeah. I mean, like, yeah.
That's hookup culture.
If it was,
that's a hookup. That's like a situation.
Yeah, but at the same time, that also means that gives him the thing to be able to go and do that with other women, because we're in a situationship. We're not.
So it's about finding a guy where you can both agree.
Yeah, because I don't want that. Because I don't.
And it's gonna be hard.
Exactly. I don't want to soul transfer with everybody. So you know what? I'll just sit on my own, and it probably time has come now for me to invest in a little friend.
Today's toy.
A little friend. Do you know what I'm saying?
I'm surprised you don't have one already, to be fair.
I know. I've been really like.
Just choose the right hours, I beg. That's what I'm gonna say.
You'll notice the muscles on my right arm bigger than my left. Anyway. On that note, I think we'll leave it there. So, as always, everybody, I'm sending an abundance of love and light, and it's goodbye from me.
And bye from me.
Bye.